Hey guys, welcome back to HotS Thoughts. Today I am, oops, there we go. Today I'm going to be doing a bit of a special episode where I'm going to be doing more of a vlog type thing. Just talking about my experiences with what I've been doing and where I want to go, things like that. First of all, I just want to say that it's been great doing these and it's been giving me a lot of experience speaking. And that's something that I need to practice more. So I enjoy doing these. I don't do it often enough, and I'm trying to become more consistent with doing them. So I'm putting myself on a schedule now for Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every single week to get an episode out and make sure that everyone is getting these in a more consistent order. Because I think that's the only way to promote myself. So I have an anecdote about this. I was recently asked by Team Liquid to go to WCA to represent them as a reporter and report on the Heroes of the Storm team that were there. And that was something that I was really excited about. The only problem was that I didn't have a passport and we got this at super short notice. So I had to actually go down to the passport office at my university and asked them, hey, can I get this expedited? And they were like, yeah, we can do it in about 2 to 3 weeks. And I was like, well, they kind of want information by the end of this week. Is there any way I can do this faster? And they wanted me to drive down to the main passport office in Atlanta to get it expedited in 8 business days, I think is the minimum. But I couldn't actually get a appointment scheduled on time, so I wasn't able to go to China. So that's kind of unfortunate. WCA will be, I think, from 15th to the 20th, I think is when it's held, sometime around then. So I don't get to do that, but I'm still going to go get my passport and try to do that in the future. The point of this story is it kind of brought up a lot of realizations about how I'm branding myself, what I'm doing with my work, and where I need to go from here. So one of the things I noticed was that I don't do enough of my own things. I've been doing a lot of stuff for Team Liquid. I've been writing all these articles behind the scenes. I've been making sure a lot of these articles get pushed out on time and are continually getting done. This is something that people don't see me do a lot of, but I actually work my ass off. I don't have a job right now. I'm not going to school, so I am literally working full-time for free for Team Liquid. So I'm working a little bit too hard on that and not producing enough of my own content. When I look at other people like Kendrick Swish, for instance, I realize that he's spent a lot of time working on his brand. He built himself a logo. He built himself 2 or 3 different YouTube series that he continually kept doing and releasing weekly, every single week. And as a result, it's landed him an actual casting job at DreamHack, which was a pretty big deal. So that's the kind of thing that I want to start heading towards, is doing more, not necessarily casting, but doing more of my own things, writing my own articles, and doing these videos as well as some of the other podcasts like Nexus Nights more often, and kind of branding myself as a person and not as part of the organization. So today I kind of want to talk about the news coverage portion of what we do at Team Liquid and why it's important to me that we do that. And just talk about some of the things that we're working on and some of our competitors in Heroes of the Storm esports news. So what is it that a news site has to offer? When we talk about esports coverage, when we talk about the getting news and content out there, we have to understand what is it that we're kind of looking for in a website, what makes us different from other websites. Originally, we kind of wanted to do more guides and things like that, and that's something that where I come from back in Team Liquid Strategy, where I was writing mostly guides and how-to articles on how to play like certain strategies or how to play like a certain player, etc. So that kind of thing came naturally to me. News is rather new. But I started writing some articles with Team Liquid Blizzard for BlizzCon, and that was a lot of experience that I got, and I found out that was something I really enjoyed doing. So when we look at news sites, the top news sites for Heroes of the Storm that I found so far, I will go ahead and change over to my monitor so you can see. All right, and there's my face. So the top news sites that are out there for Heroes of the Storm are Gosu Gamers, the Score Esports, and Daily Dot, as well as Team Dignitas does some nice things. So what I want to talk about is just what some of these sites have to offer and what it is that I find useful in them, things that I would want Team Liquid to do. So Team Liquid is rather unknown in terms of coverage, news coverage, and articles and things like that. And it's because we're mainly a forum and because we are limited to just a landing page. We don't have our own website to do whatever we want with it. So we have the Team Liquid banner to run under, but as an authority in the subject, we don't have enough grounding yet. So that's something that we're continually working on. We're trying to reach out to other people, trying to network and get more player interviews and things like that. And that's why we launched our Twitter recently at Liquid Heroes, which it's been taking off at quite a good rate, but we're still at under 500 viewers or 500 followers. And we really need a lot more than that if we're going to get where we need to be. So this is Gosu Gamers. I am personally not a huge fan of Gosu Gamers because I feel that their content is very Pulp Fiction-y. They take things like Twitter feeds, they take tweets and write entire articles out of them, a lot of speculation and not really a lot of facts. And since I mentioned that I come from that kind of guide technical writing background, it's very important for me to have all the facts and get everything perfectly in a line rather than just putting out articles for speculation. And I understand that part of what makes that different for them versus us is we have a forum. So since we're mainly a forum, if we see a tweet or anything like that, we just copy paste the tweet in the forum and people can see it that way. But for them, if they have minor news like, oh, Dustin Bradder just announced this, or we won't be getting this until next year, etc., they have to write an article in order for that to be put out there. Although I think you could probably get it out there with just a tweet. Saying. I'm also a little bit upset because they stole one of my pictures from the Twitter, the Team Liquid Heroes Twitter. So I'm a little bit angry at that, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. It's technically public property, so they have a right to it. Another source is the Score Esports. This is a site that I actually admire quite a bit. The Heroes of the Storm section, as far as I know, is run pretty much, it's a one-man show by a guy named Josh Burry. I've been following his tweets on Liquid, and I really think he's a very smart, intelligent person. I love his articles. I think they're well written. And I think that he does a really good job of reporting the facts without too much speculation. So that's someone that I aspire to be like because I think this is an excellent site and I think this news section is excellently run. This is a job that someday I would love to have, to just run an entire section of a website like this. So I really like the Score Esports. I think that's one of the best. Daily Dot Esports covers a lot of different things. It's not so much Heart of the Swarm, Heroes of the Storm specific. It has a lot of other things like League of Legends and CS:GO and Dota, stuff that is also very relevant in esports. And so they're kind of like an all-encapsulating group that does pretty much everything. The issue with them is you don't get a lot of Heroes of the Storm news, and you get stuff like Heroes of the Storm won't launch arena mode until late next year, and Fnatic break Team Liquid's DreamHack Heroes of the Storm monopoly. Okay, There you go. See, there's not a lot of heroes content among all of this other stuff. You have to really search around to find the heroes content that you want to find. So what I aspire to do. Oh, also Team Dignitas. I think this deserves good mention. The blog section of Team Dignitas has all kinds of amazing articles. Absolutely incredible ones. They're all these different guides and short articles written by all volunteers, but they're great. They're so good. There isn't a lot of, actually I don't know if there's anything for Heroes of the Storm. There might be a little bit. Most of it's for League of Legends and CSGO. They're still absolutely excellent, and I think that's something that should be checked out. So what I want to do by showing all these things is talk about, is show what the potential for Team Liquid is. Team Liquid Heroes, we have a small group. We have a very small core of really driven people who want to make this the best that it possibly can, and I'm one of those people. And it's difficult because there are so many of these other established entities out there. They don't necessarily have all the connections like we do. Like Gosu Gamers is a pretty well-known organization, and they have a very well-organized site with lots of different resources and things like that. Wikipedia is still better. I'm just gonna say Liquipedia on Team Liquid is the greatest. It's the greatest resource for anything esports. I'm just saying. But as far as news goes, we want to try to. They have all of those resources and things like that. They're well known, but they don't have the connections like we do at Team Liquid. At Team Liquid, we have connections to all the Team Liquid pro players. We can easily get in touch with many of the North American and the European teams as well. And we also have even some connections to the Korean teams. Just last week, we managed to get in touch with MVP's coach to get them streamed, and we also have a running dialogue with them. So that's really nice. It allows us to talk to them and get insight from them and do our jobs a little bit better. So the problem is that we're a bit understaffed and we're a bit underappreciated, I think. That's another thing, but I'll let it go. We're a bit underappreciated for what we do because we continually try to do the best that we can, but we don't have much of a platform for growing it. So we have to make do with the best that we can, and we're coming up with all kinds of innovations. We are focusing on doing this Twitter work to help boost our numbers and help get our name out there a little bit more. We're also looking into getting a Reddit manager, somebody who can post our things in Reddit and maintain them, so that we can also reach out to the Reddit community there, because there's a huge untapped potential out there. And our goal ultimately is to get 1K to 2K followers following us, at the very minimum, 1K to 2K followers that can follow us and keep up with all of the Heroes of the Storm stuff as it's going on. We want to be the top place for live coverage, because that's something we can get to. For instance, if we go all the way back to my anecdote about going to China, that's another example of, we had the connections with Team Liquid. Team Liquid was like, hey, we will pay you, or well, we won't pay you, but we'll pay for your trip, all expenses paid trip. You can go to China and report on the teams and write news for us, and that'll be good. So that's something that we have that other sites necessarily don't. So it's something that we want to use a little bit more. We want to try to reach out to pro players, reach out to casters and things like that, and build connections with them and become a lot more well known in the community. Not just in the community of fans, but also in the community of public figures and community figures. So that's our goal. We're trying different ways. Nexus Nights is also another way that we're trying to get out there. Nexus Nights is our podcast that allows us to just sit around and talk about some things And in the future, we might be able to get some guests, like, for instance, off the top of my head, I think maybe Kendrick Swish or Gillyweed or someone like that may eventually agree to be on the show, because we've been in talks with them and we've talked to them quite a bit about a few different things. So maybe in the future we can have one of them on. We can have community spotlights. We're doing a skin contest right now that people can just submit silly, crazy skin ideas with drawings and Photoshop things. It doesn't even have to be good, but they can just submit anything and we'll give them a free skin in return. So that's another way that we give back to the community. And on Nexus Nights, we plan to show the community winners, because that's important to us, is to sponsor the rest of the community and get other people well known, so that we make connections and we all make money, and so that we all do better. We all make a name for ourselves in esports. I think it's important to make connections and get to know one another. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. The main thing for me is I've been working for Team Liquid for about 4 years. I started, well, maybe it's more like 3. I started at lurking in the forums around 2011, late 2011, at the end of Wings of Liberty, and I posted a few articles debating design and things like that in the Heart of the Swarm beta. And when Heart of the Swarm took off, I started writing more and more things, and I was accepted into the Team Liquid strategy group that was originally founded by Monk. Did that for a while, and then I lost my passion for StarCraft and started doing other things, playing League of Legends and Heroes of the Storm, things like that. And after a while, I came back to Heroes of the Storm. And it's not necessarily the game that has been really good to me, but it has been all of the experiences that I've been able to attain through working with this group of people. We have a very driven group of people. I said that already, but I want to make that very clear. We have a very, very driven group of people that want to get everything, that want to get well known and want to make the most of this. So what we're trying to do is something that it's analogous to building a business, and I treat it like a business. I treat it like my job, and it really does matter to me. And I was really upset at not being able to go to China. I'd like to get to a point where that becomes the norm for me, that I can become an esports reporter and editor and be able to go to events, be able to report on it, like that. So that's my goal, and it's a rough uphill road, and definitely it's not easy, and I need to find a part-time job for right now so I can pay bills, but this is something I've decided that I want to do. I'm gonna do it. All right, well, thanks for tuning in. If you have any comments, concerns, ideas, about down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.